The buried saints. In the old city of Verum, surrounded by rolling hills and shaded by tall cypress trees, history was kept in every cobblestone and old building. It was a city where the past spoke through time, where archaeologists and historians dug through layers of dirt and dust to find stories long forgotten. Verum was fixing its old city wall when a team of workers found something unexpected. Under the wall's foundations, hidden from the sun for thousands of years, were the remains of an ancient Roman temple. Among the scholars drawn to the excavation was Anna, a young historian with a penchant for unraveling the mysteries of the past. Her fascination with Verum's rich history had brought her to the city years ago, and now, standing before the newly uncovered temple, she felt a surge of anticipation. The temple, although worn by time and buried in layers of dirt, gave off a strong sense of being very old. Its walls, decorated with faded paintings showing scenes of gods and people, seemed to hum with a quiet, ancient energy. Anna's scholarly curiosity was stirred as she studied the texts and objects found at the site. Little did she know, buried beneath the temple's serene facade lay a malevolent force that had slumbered undisturbed for centuries, a force that would soon awaken with a thirst for vengeance. As the workers carefully dug up the old temple, a sense of excitement filled the air. Pieces of pottery and fancy statues came out of the ground, each piece adding to the mystery of Verum's history. Anna, focused on her research, eagerly recorded every find, unaware of the ancient evil waking up below. It was one fateful afternoon when the excavation team found a hidden room under the temple's main altar. Inside, untouched by time and preserved in darkness, was an ancient object, a small, detailed urn decorated with symbols of protection and warning. Excitement rippled through the workers as they carefully lifted the urn from its resting place. Unbeknownst to them, their actions had awakened something dormant and malevolent within the temple's depths. A chilling wind swept through the chamber, carrying with it an otherworldly presence that went unnoticed by all but the most sensitive among them. That night, as the city of Verum slept under a sky full of stars, an evil force started to move. It slipped through the streets like a shadow, pulled steadily towards the cemetery where the newly dead were buried. Hidden by the dark, it began to whisper its bad plans to the souls of the dead, looking for bodies to use for its long-awaited revenge. In the quiet hours before dawn, the first signs of the spirit's wrath began to manifest. A lone gravedigger, working late into the night, felt a cold chill run down his spine as he sensed a presence lingering among the headstones. He turned, only to be confronted by the ghastly visage of a revenant, a once peaceful soul twisted into a monstrous form by the spirit's malevolent touch. Terrified, the gravedigger fled, his cries echoing through the empty streets of Verum. His encounter would be the first of many, as the city began to descend into a nightmare of undead horrors, each revenant bearing the mark of the vengeful spirit that had been unleashed. As the days passed, whispers of strange occurrences began to spread through the city of Verum. People spoke in hushed tones of seeing fleeting shadows in the alleys, of hearing eerie whispers on the wind that carried no source. But for many, these accounts were dismissed as mere superstition or the overactive imaginations of a city unnerved by recent events. Anna, absorbed in her studies of the unearthed temple, remained oblivious to the growing unease that gripped Verum. She pored over ancient scrolls and texts, piecing together fragments of forgotten rituals and prayers inscribed on weathered tablets. The more she delved into the temple's history, the more she sensed a darkness lurking beneath the surface, a darkness that eluded her scholarly understanding. One evening, while poring over a particularly cryptic text, Anna noticed peculiar references to rituals meant to appease vengeful spirits and ward off malevolent forces. The words seemed to dance on the page, their meaning just beyond her grasp. She dismissed the passages as ancient folklore, reluctant to entertain the idea that something sinister could be lurking within the very temple she had come to admire. Yet, as night fell over Verum, the signs of the spirit's influence became harder to ignore. Reports of attacks by monstrous figures grew more frequent. Witnesses spoke of seeing revenants prowling the streets under the cover of darkness, their eyes burning with an unnatural fury. Fear began to seep into the hearts of Verum's citizens, despite their attempts to rationalize away the inexplicable horrors unfolding around them. Anna also started to feel a growing unease that she couldn't shake off. The once spotless temple now seemed to give off a heavy feeling, its old stones whispering secrets of long-forgotten rituals and curses. She found herself troubled by dreams of shadowy figures calling from the depths of the temple and faces twisted in pain and anger. Yet, even as doubt gnawed at her resolve, Anna clung to her rationality. She continued her research, determined to uncover the truth buried within the temple's ancient walls. Little did she know, the answers she sought would lead her down a path fraught with terror and sacrifice, where the line between history and horror blurred into a chilling reality. As the nights grew longer in Verum, so did the grip of fear tighten around its inhabitants. Anna, consumed by her research into the ancient temple, began to notice subtle changes in the city. The once bustling streets now lay deserted after sunset, as people barricaded themselves indoors, seeking refuge from the growing menace that lurked in the shadows. Reports of attacks by the undead spread quickly through the city. Each night brought new stories of terror, of families destroyed by monstrous figures that moved with unnatural speed and strength, their eyes glowing with an evil light. Verum's once lively community became a ghost town, its people frozen by fear and uncertainty. Anna, troubled by the echoes of old texts and the ghosts that roamed the city streets, felt alone in her search for knowledge. She buried herself in the forbidden books of the temple, decoding mysterious passages that suggested rituals to calm angry spirits. The more she learned, the more she understood the great danger that threatened to swallow Verum. The symptoms of the spirit's influence became increasingly apparent. Shadows seemed to dance at the corner of Anna's vision, whispering secrets that eluded her conscious mind. She began to experience vivid nightmares of being pursued through labyrinthine corridors by faceless horrors, of ancient gods and demons locked in eternal struggle. Yet, amidst the escalating terror, Anna's determination remained steadfast. She believed that buried within the temple's ancient texts lay the key to stopping the malevolent force that had been unleashed. With each passing day, she delved deeper into the darkness, driven by a desperate hope that she could uncover the ritual that would bring an end to the city's nightmare. But as the undead grew bolder in their attacks, Anna knew that time was running out. The city of Verum was on the edge of becoming a graveyard, haunted by the restless dead and the evil spirit that controlled them. As she prepared to face the horrors hiding in the temple's depths, Anna could only hope that her search for knowledge would not lead to her own death. As fear spread through Verum, Anna felt more and more alone in her search for an answer. The once busy halls of the city's archives and libraries were now empty, as both scholars and residents hid away, seeking safety behind locked doors and closed windows. Anna, driven by an insatiable thirst for knowledge and a desperate need to understand the ancient forces at play, immersed herself deeper into the forbidden texts she had unearthed. Her days blurred into nights as she pored over scrolls and manuscripts, piecing together fragments of forgotten rituals and incantations. But the darkness seemed to seep into every corner of her existence. Sleep became a fleeting luxury, haunted by nightmares that blurred the line between reality and fantasy. In her waking hours, shadows danced at the edges of her vision, whispering secrets that sent shivers down her spine. Fear gnawed at Anna's resolve, threatening to unravel her sanity. The once confident scholar now found herself questioning her every move, her every thought. Was she truly on the path to salvation, or merely hastening her descent into madness? Outside, Verum was covered in a heavy silence, interrupted only by the occasional cry of pain or the distant sound of a ghost wandering the streets. Anna's loneliness grew as she focused more and more on her research, not noticing how time was passing or how it was affecting her mind and body. But even amidst the despair, a flicker of determination burned within Anna's heart. She knew that she alone possessed the knowledge needed to confront the malevolent spirit that threatened Verum's very existence. With each discovery, she edged closer to unraveling the mysteries of the ancient temple and the ritual that could banish the darkness once and for all. Yet, as the city teetered on the brink of becoming a necropolis, Anna knew that her journey was far from over. The path ahead was fraught with peril and sacrifice, and the shadows that lurked within the temple's depths held secrets that could either save Verum or seal its doom. As the nights grew darker over Verum, Anna's determination grew stronger amidst the growing fear. Alone in her study, surrounded by old books and the flickering light of candles, she carefully examined the last pieces of the temple's history. Each scroll and inscription had a part of the puzzle she needed to solve, the ritual that could calm the angry spirit and save the city from becoming a graveyard. It was in the darkest hour before dawn that Anna uncovered a fragment of parchment tucked away in a forgotten corner of the archives. The parchment, fragile and yellowed with age, bore the faded ink of an ancient scribe, a record of rituals practiced by Roman priests to placate restless spirits. With shaking hands, Anna translated the mysterious passages, putting together the last parts of the ritual. The ritual needed special items, symbols of purity and pain that would match the spirit's twisted wishes. As she read, a cold feeling came over her, and she realized that to save Verum, she would have to make a sacrifice that went beyond just words or spells. But doubts ate away at Anna's determination. Could she explain such a sacrifice, even with danger approaching? The weight of her decision felt heavy on her shoulders, almost too much to bear. Yet, with every ghostly attack that broke the city's delicate calm, Anna knew that the time for hesitation was over. Armed with newfound knowledge and a heart heavy with dread, Anna ventured into the heart of the ancient temple. The air inside was thick with the scent of dust and decay. The walls lined with crumbling statues and faded frescoes that whispered tales of forgotten gods and buried sins. In a secluded chamber deep within the temple, Anna prepared to perform the ritual. Her hands trembled as she arranged the ritualistic elements, a mixture of herbs, precious stones, and relics imbued with ancient power. The final component, a token of personal sacrifice, rested heavy in her palm, its significance a bitter reminder of the price she must pay. With shaky determination, Anna said the magic words that had been handed down through generations, each word a prayer and a request for forgiveness. The room seemed to vibrate with hidden energy, and the air felt heavier as old powers reacted to her call. Outside, the city of Verum held its breath as the ritual unfolded. The night grew eerily silent. The usual sounds of the revenants' footsteps and haunting cries fading into an oppressive stillness. For a moment, hope flickered in the hearts of Verum's residents. Their eyes turned towards the temple as they waited with bated breath for the outcome of Anna's desperate gamble. But as the ritual neared its climax, a chilling realization dawned on Anna. The spirit's wrath had not yet been quelled. In a frantic rush of fear and determination, she realized the true sacrifice she must make. A sacrifice that would test her morality and humanity to its core. As Anna stood in the poorly lit room of the old temple, the burden of her choice felt heavy. The ritual she had done had awakened old powers, but the angry spirit's anger was still strong. Outside, the city of Verum waited nervously, its future uncertain as the night dragged on in anxious anticipation. With a sinking heart, Anna realized the true nature of the sacrifice required to appease the vengeful spirit. It was not in relics or incantations, but in a deeply personal offering, a sacrifice of profound significance that would test her resolve and humanity to their limits. Steeling herself against fear and doubt, Anna made her decision. With trembling hands, she reached for the token of sacrifice, a cherished memento that represented everything she held dear. Tears welled in her eyes as she placed it upon the ancient altar, the stone cold beneath her fingertips. The room seemed to throb with a dark power as Anna said the last words of the ritual, her voice shaking but determined. The air buzzed with excitement as old forces awoke, attracted by the promise of sacrifice and redemption. Outside, the restless movements of the spirits stopped, as if they sensed the important moment inside the temple. Verum waited in silence, its quiet streets showing the hope pinned on Anna's brave action. And then, in a bright flash of light and a loud roar, the spirit appeared before Anna, a ghost of anger and pain, its shape changing and swirling with a strange power. Its eyes burned with a strange fire as it floated in front of her, filling the room with a heavy pressure. Anna stood firm, her heart racing but her determination strong. She looked at the spirit with steady resolve, knowing that the future of Verum depended on this moment. In the quiet exchange between human and spirit, there was a shared understanding, an acknowledgement of sacrifice, pain, and the endless cycle of revenge and forgiveness that connected them. With a final burst of strength, Anna finished the ritual, focusing her determination and the heart of her sacrifice into a request for peace. The spirit's shape flickered, its anger softened by the sincerity of Anna's gift. For a brief moment, it felt like time had stopped as the old powers fought silently against each other. And then, as swiftly as it had appeared, the spirit began to dissipate, a swirling mist of ethereal energy that faded into the shadows of the temple's depths. The chamber grew still, the air heavy with the weight of what had transpired. Outside, the first rays of dawn bathed the city of Verum in a golden light, casting aside the shadows that had gripped it in fear. Slowly, cautiously, the residents emerged from their homes, their eyes searching the quiet streets for signs of the nightmare that had plagued them. But there was only silence, a profound stillness that spoke of peace reclaimed and darkness vanquished. Verum had been spared from becoming a necropolis, its future no longer held captive by the malevolent spirit's wrath. And as Anna stood amidst the ruins of the ancient temple, she knew that the price of salvation had been steep. But the city's survival was a testament to the strength of courage and sacrifice in the face of unimaginable darkness. As the ghost's otherworldly shape started to fade, Anna stood among the ruins of the old temple, her heart burdened by what she had done. The ritual had managed to calm the ghost's anger for now, but the price of peace felt heavy on her spirit. The token of sacrifice, now resting upon the ancient altar, held a profound significance, a reminder of the price Anna had paid to save Verum from descending into darkness. Tears streaked down her cheeks as she gazed upon the cherished memento, its presence a bittersweet testament to the depths of her resolve and the magnitude of her sacrifice. Outside the temple's walls, the first rays of dawn bathed the city of Verum in a gentle light, illuminating the quiet streets that had been haunted by fear and uncertainty. The residents emerged from their homes cautiously, their eyes searching the horizon for signs of the nightmare that had gripped them. But there was only peace, a fragile peace that hung in the air like a fragile thread woven from the courage and sacrifice of one determined scholar. The revenants had vanished, their restless spirits laid to rest by the power of Anna's selfless act. Yet, even with the new calm, Anna knew her journey wasn't over. The scars of her experience ran deep, marked into her heart and mind by the tough challenges she had faced. The old temple, once a place of wonder and exploration, now stood as a serious reminder of the darkness hiding beneath Verum's peaceful surface. As the city began to recover from its damage, Anna thought about the choices that had led her here. The constant quest for knowledge, the strong will to face the dark forces, and finally, the selfless act of sacrifice that had saved Verum from turning into a dead city. Though the road ahead remained uncertain, Anna knew that Verum would endure, its resilience forged in the crucible of adversity. The lessons learned from her journey would linger in the hearts of its residents, a testament to the power of courage, sacrifice, and the enduring spirit of hope that shone through even in the darkest of times. And as she stood amidst the ruins of the ancient temple, Anna vowed to honor the memory of those who had fallen and the sacrifices made, ensuring that Verum's history would never again be marred by the malevolent forces that had threatened to tear it apart. As the sun rose over the city of Verum, its golden rays gave a gentle warmth to the old temple and to Anna, who stood tired among its ruins. The trouble that had filled the city with fear and sadness was now a distant memory, replaced by a feeling of careful hope and new beginnings. In the days that followed, Anna stayed in Verum, helping to rebuild what had been destroyed by the evil spirit's anger. She shared what she had learned from the old books, making sure that future generations would understand the city's troubled past and the need to stay alert against hidden dangers. As Verum reclaimed its place as a beacon of history and culture, Anna knew that her role in the city's salvation had left an indelible mark. The sacrifices made, the personal and profound offering that had quelled the spirit's rage, were a testament to the strength of humanity in the face of ancient evils. And as she walked through the revitalized streets of Verum, its vibrant history and resilient spirit shining through every cobblestone and archway, Anna found solace in knowing that she had made a difference. The city's future was once again filled with promise, its past now intertwined with tales of courage, sacrifice, and the enduring power of hope.